Long ago, in a quiet town where time itself seemed to move a little slower, suddenly lived an old clockmaker. His name was Elias, and his shop, filled with the gentle ticking of 100 clocks, stood at the very heart of the village square. He was known far and wide for his beautiful creations, tall grandfather clocks that sang every hour, tiny mantle clocks that chimed like silver bells, and the pocket watches so delicate they could measure the heartbeat of a dream. But his greatest treasure, the one he cherished above all else, was not made of gears or gold. It was his daughter Lyra. She had eyes like the dawn sky and a heart so curious that even time seemed to pause when she asked her endless questions. Elias adored her, but ever since her mother's passing, he had grown cautious, almost fearful of the world outside his shop. He would often tell her, with a worried look in his eyes, "Lyra, my dear, the world outside is fast and full of noise. Promise me you'll stay here, where I can keep time for you." And so she stayed. She helped him polish the gleaming brass of clock faces, sort tiny, intricate gears into wooden boxes. And the old cuckoo that always seemed to sing just a little too early, as if he were too eager for the day to begin. Yet, every night, after the last customer had left and the town had settled into a deep, quiet slumber, Lyra would stand by her window. She gazed at the distant horizon, where the faint, shimmering lights of the great city painted a glowing promise against the dark sky. "You want to see the world where time never sleeps," she'd whisper to the silent stars, her voice full of a longing she couldn't quite name. One evening, just as Elias was about to lock the door, a stranger entered the shop. He was tall and cloaked, his face hidden in the shadows, radiating an aura of mystery. In his hands, he carried a broken pocket watch, its golden case worn smooth with age. "This watch," he sighed, his voice a low, somber hum, "it belonged to my father. It stopped the very moment he died." "Can you fix it?" Elias took the watch, his skilled fingers tracing its unusual design. The craftsmanship was exquisite, unlike anything he had ever seen. But something about it made him uneasy, a strange chill that had nothing to do with the evening air. He nodded slowly, his gaze fixed on the motionless hands. "It may take some time," the stranger smiled, a faint, sad curve of his lips. "Time," he replied, "is all we have left." And with that, he turned and vanished into the deepening night, leaving only the scent of rain and the old memories behind. Lyra couldn't sleep that night. The broken watch, resting on her father's workbench, seemed to call to her. She could have sworn she heard it whispering a soft, rhythmic ticking, even though his hands did not move. Drawn by an irresistible curiosity, she crept downstairs. She lifted the delicate glass cover, and inside, a thin gleaming gold, she saw the words, "Turn me only when your heart is ready." Before she could sing, before her father's warnings could stop her, she found the key and turned it. The watch burst with a blinding, golden light. The very air around her shimmered and warped. The ticking grew louder, faster, a frantic pulse to echo the beating of her own heart, until the entire room dissolved into a blur of color and sound. And then, complete silence. When Lyra opened her eyes, she was no more longer in her father's cozy, familiar shop. She was standing in the middle of a vast, bustling city, filled with horseless carriages, towering buildings, and the people rushing to streets that glowed with an electric light she'd only dreamed of. High above her, a colossal tower clock struck midnight, its chimes lost in the city's roar. Lyra wandered through the sprawling metropolis, amazed and utterly overwhelmed. Everywhere she looked, people hurried. Merchants shouted their wares, carriages clattered over stone, and no more one, not a single person, stopped long enough to meet her eye, let alone offer a smile. She tried asking for directions, for help, but everyone brushed past her as if she were invisible. "Excuse me," she'd start, but they were already gone, swept away by the relentless current of the crowd. Finally, she found a moment of stillness near a grand fountain, where an old beggar sat quietly, sharing his bread with a flock of pigeons. "Why does everyone here run so fast?" she asked, her voice small in the city's din. The beggar looked up and offered a sad, knowing smile. "Because they've forgotten how to wait, child. They chase time, thinking they can catch it, not realizing they're losing themselves in the race." Lyra held up the golden watch, its surface warm in her hand. "Then maybe this can help them," but the beggar shook his head. "No more, that watch doesn't stop time. It shows you what you're missing while you're so busy trying to control it." Before she could ask what he meant, a familiar, rhythmic ticking echoed behind her. The mysterious stranger had returned. "You turned the key," he sighed, his eyes glinting in the lantern light. "You wanted to see the world where time never sleeps, and now, time belongs to you." And just like that, the world froze. Every person stopped mid-step, their expressions locked in place. Even the water from the fountain and the raindrops from a passing shower hung motionless in the air, like scattered diamonds. Lyra gasped, her breath the only thing that moved. What's happening? What did you do? The stranger's voice was calm, almost gentle. You wanted to stop time, he explained, so you could see the world at your own pace. But look around you. Without time, nothing moves, nothing breathes, nothing lives. Lyra looked at the still faces sounding her though frozen laughter on a child's lips, though moving carriages, the halted, silent heartbeat of the entire city. It was beautiful, but it was empty. A single tear rolled down her cheek. I don't want this, she whispered, her voice trembling. I just wanted to live in time, not own it. The stranger's expression softened. Then learn this, Lyra. Time cannot be held, it can only be honored. He placed the watch back into her hands. Turn it once more, but only when your heart truly understands. She closed her eyes, clutching the watch, and took a deep, steadying breath. She understood now. With a newfound certainty, she turned the key again. Light flashed once more, bright and warm. And suddenly, Lyra was back. She was standing in her father's shop, with the morning sun streaming through the windows, painting the room in familiar, golden stripes. The clocks all round her chimed at once, a perfect, harmonious chorus marking the new day. Elias rushed in, his eyes wide with worry and relief. Lyra, what happened? Where were you? She smiled, her eyes still wet with tears of understanding. You learned something, Father. Time doesn't belong to us. We belong to it. Elias wrapped her in a tight embrace, holding her as if he never let go. From that day forward, he no longer told her to stay inside. Together, they repaired clocks for the whole world, not to control time, but to remind people to cherish every single moment. Years later, when Lyra grew up and took over the shop, travelers from every land came to see her beautiful creations. Each clock she made, from the grandest to the smallest, bore the same secret engraving, hidden behind the gears. You cannot keep time, but you can make it matter. And so, the little clockmaker's daughter became known far and wide, not for her ability to stop time, but for teaching the world how to truly live within it. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more tales to inspire you. See you next time.